Hello everyone, my name is Creepypasta here today and welcome to a brand new series I am bringing to the channel called Interesting Gaming Stories. Now, I was very curious about this and there's a lot of topics that I'm going to cover throughout this series. And if you guys like this series, make sure to put your comments down below. Let me know if you like the series or not. And also let me know what other video games you want me to cover or make stories about or... yeah, basically what this series is going to do is going to talk about Easter eggs. It's going to talk about creepypastas. It's going to talk about interesting facts. It's going to talk about top 10s, things that you don't know, things that you did know, things that we can cover and just talk about in general. These are the stories about games that are not actually related to the game's mechanics or stuff like that. It's kind of like, I don't know, behind the scenes in a way of a game or a different way to look at it. Out of the box stories about a game. That's the best way to describe it. Sorry for my horrible explanation of what this series is going to be, but I do have a better explanation of what this video is going to be. The video is going to be about a creepypasta, but you actually won't believe what the creepypasta is about because this doesn't seem like the kind of game that would have a creepypasta, but I looked on the Steam community page and it does. It's a game I've covered on this channel many times before, and I'm going to cover it again because I just had to be too curious and look up to see if there was a creepypasta on it. There is a creepypasta of Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. And this creepypasta dates to September 11th, 2021. And it was most recently updated on September 12th of 2021. By the way, the creepypasta is posted by Ear Near Play Games, so full credit to the creepypasta goes to him. And since it is a creepypasta, just know that this is not real. At least I don't think it's real. Creepypastas are creepypastas. They're fictional. They're not real. Some of them are based off of true stories, but I don't believe this one is based off a true story. I guess we will find out together throughout this video. Part 1, Prologue. My name is Johnny, and I've recently bought Rainbow Six Siege on sale. I was very excited to play it, as I've seen lots of videos that my friends always played at school. I'm pretty good at video games. I've played a lot of FPS before Siege, for example, Overwatch or Team Fortress 2. So even though should have been able to adapt to the game pretty easily, I still wanted to at least complete the tutorial to the game. Once I installed the game, I went into the playlist button and noticed something odd. All the playlists were locked except for one, Training Grounds. I thought to myself, maybe it's the tutorial. I should probably beat it so I can actually play the game. I selected the normal difficulty and chose Lone Wolf. However, I clicked the button, the screen went black. I was confused for a bit, but soon the game loaded and I started playing. That's pretty odd, Johnny. That's pretty odd. But hold on. There is one thing that is somewhat normal about that. When you do first install Siege, there should be three playlists available to you. Whatever the arcade mode is, quick play, or whatever they call it now, and the Training Grounds. That should be the 3 playlists available to you. So it shouldn't be all but one. So that is not normal. Part 2, Recruit. I chose Recruit since it was the only operator I had. Soon enough the game loaded, and for the most part everything seemed normal. After exploring the giant map, I eventually found the hostage, at least what I thought was the hostage. What I saw was a black figure who just looked at me for a second, and then my screen went black for about a minute. Soon enough the screen returned, but it was all messed up. The entire map went dark, and instead of the usual voice of the announcer, I heard a very deep and distorted voice that said, "Let's play a game, save the hostage or die." I was scared to say the least. I just stood there, quietly for a bit, until eventually trying to enter the fortress. For some reason I couldn't run or use melee, meaning I couldn't break barricades, so I had to find an alternate way in. Eventually I found an open window and saw some enemies for some reason. I couldn't switch to my primary weapon. I was only able to use my pistol. Luckily they were pretty easy to defeat even with a handgun. Well, hold on, there's one part of the hole in the story here. It says that for some reason I couldn't run or use melee, meaning I couldn't break barricades, but if you were only able to use your pistol, you can shoot a barricade until it breaks open. Hole in the story found there. But so far, we are getting pretty spooky. We have a black figure staring, looking at this player. The new player in Rainbow Six Siege, staring into his soul. And he says, "Let's play a game, save the hostage or die." Well, that's basically the mode. You do, but the whole let's play game thing is not normal, and it's also in a deep, distorted voice, apparently, so it's getting spooky. It's getting spooky. I started exploring again, looking for the hostage, when suddenly my screen was filled with weird corrupted text and the screen went darker. It was kind of hard to decipher the messages, but regardless, I was pretty scared. I continued exploring and found more enemies, but whenever I killed an enemy, the words kill and death would appear in the same corrupted text. I don't know why, but every time I killed an enemy, I felt wrong, even though they were enemies in a video game. Eventually I found the hostage, but when I did, some weird looking enemies entered the room, and after about 3 seconds, I was killed. Afterwards, the screen went black and my computer seemingly shut itself off. I'm somewhat relieved, but also extremely scared. What the hell happened that game? Did Steam just sell me a wrong version of the game? I decided to ignore it and restart my computer. I booted up the game again, and while it was loading, I thought maybe it was some glitch. Maybe now I'll be able to play some multiplayer. Well, if you're new to the game, you might want to actually complete the tutorial. If you got beat by bots, you know, maybe you shouldn't enter multiplayer is what I'm saying. If those 3 enemies ran into the room on me, I'm personally taking my rifle, I'm going, bah, 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 bah. I'm hitting all of them in the head, and I'm him. I'm MLGing all of them. I'm hitting them in the head, they're dropping to the ground. I'm getting an ace on the 3 weird enemies that run in, and I am personally winning that round to climb that rank. I went into playlists again, and strangely the buttons for Quick Match, Newcomer, and Discovery were still locked, yet the training grounds were still open. I was a bit scared to enter it, but eventually I pressed the button. The screen went black almost immediately, and when it rebooted, this is what I saw. The map was Border. I was playing as Fuse. This confused me a little since I haven't unlocked Fuse yet, but eventually I just started exploring the map. I went up to one of the doors, and this time I could actually use the breach charge to open the door. Before I blew up the wall, I stood behind the wall, and for some reason the explosion of the breach charge was extremely realistic. I mean, sure, it's a realistic game, but this looked like an actual real-life explosion. I went inside the building, and after some time, another corrupted message appeared, this time, however, warning me. I quickly turned behind and saw a bunch of enemies behind me. An extra realistic explosion? You know what, bro? I hate to tell you, there was like a cord halfway plugged in, and your house exploded, man. Like, your PC and everything somehow stayed intact, and you were still in Rainbow Six Siege, but it was a real-life explosion because your house exploded, man. I hate to tell you this, but your wire was not all the way plugged in, and, you know, it happens. My house exploded. Just my setup survived. And my phone. And my computer. And the electricity. And the house. Thankfully, I was able to shoot them down, even though they did hurt me pretty bad. I went into the room they ambushed me from, and besides the fact that it was extremely dark, nothing was standing out. But then when I tried to get out of the room, more corrupted messages appeared trying to warn me again. This time I thought maybe this is lying to me, so I might as well go there. I went in and regretted it. Those weird enemies from last time are back. Even though they killed me pretty quickly, I did get a better look at them. They seemed to have almost been as the normal enemies, but their masks were red with glowing red eyes. They freaked me out, but before I could process anything, or rather Fuse, was killed. Part 4. Ash. I was still somewhat shocked after the last round, but before I could turn off the game, another match started up. This time the map was Tower, and I was playing as Ash. I knew that Ash was a very popular character among the R6 community. And since the map was still dark, I had a feeling I knew that would happen. I went inside the building, and once again the corrupted messages popped up. This time they were trying to help me, they were trying to make me run. I looked closer at the text and I spelled out, "Welcome back. Are you sure you want to die? If so, proceed, but if not, run." I made it downstairs when I saw 2 entrances, the traditional one and the breakable hatch. But before I could even close it, suddenly Ash pulled out her breaching charge and shot at the hatch. I was a bit confused since I didn't click the gadget button or I didn't even press the fire button. Eventually I fell down the hatch to the lowest floor. There were a lot of enemies waiting for me. Obviously I shot at them since they were relatively easy to beat. However, Ash suffered a lot of damage, so much so that she was literally crawling. I could hear the blood slowly pouring from Ash's wounds and even hear her heavily breathing. I felt disgusted. Whoever was doing all of this to my game was a monster. Even though I was creeped out, I could feel the anger building inside of me. But before I could turn back, Ash got killed. What weirded me out is that unlike the 2 times, this one didn't have a weird message at the bottom, and soon after the screen once again went black. I had enough for now. I closed off my computer and went to bed. That night I had nightmares. Guys. I'm sorry. This is the scariest creepypasta that I've ever heard in my life, man. I ain't going to sleep after this one. I'm never playing Rainbow Six Siege again. This is going to start happening to me. This is what's going to start happening. It's going to happen to me, and it's going to happen to everybody else. It's been about 3 days since I had that horrible experience in Rainbow Six Siege. I haven't touched the game since, but I have been playing other Ubisoft games in the meantime, like Far Cry 3 and Watch Dogs Legion. Whenever I was on my desktop, I saw the Siege icon haunting me. Eventually I had enough and I booted up the game again. This time the screen just turned to static. No menu, no locked options, but I did see a loading screen. I was confused. I understood that the defenders were operators from the game, but who was unknown Ver? The map was House, the most basic map in the game as far as I heard, but before I could analyze the menu, the screen went black, and then put me on the cameras. It looked abandoned, but upon closer inspection I saw a shadowy figure. I switched to another camera and saw the same figure and think it was following me. Then I switched to a camera I didn't recognize, and soon after, more corrupted messages appeared. Find me, let's end this. Was he waiting for me? Soon enough, the screen went black, and soon I was controlling a character. I had no idea which one, since unlike the last time, all the head elements were off. I eventually had enough of this thing possessing my game, so I just went inside the house. I went to the basement, which was the only place that I had not checked. I took a deep breath and went downstairs. When I arrived, I saw something inside the clothes. Alright, what I found in this box is something that cannot be explained by words. It has to be shown. Disclaimer, what you're about to see will scare you for life. This is your last chance. If you don't want to see it, don't. Alright, here you go. Alright, my genuine reaction to the creepypasta is I thought it was good. I thought it was a little bit cheesy, but I thought it was a pretty creative story behind it, so... You know what? Kudos to Near Play Games, the author of this creepypasta. And as far as what was in the box, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to leave the link to this creepypasta down below for you guys so you can see what was in the creepy box for yourselves. Warning, it's pretty creepy. I don't know if you guys, your guys' life might be changed. You might be traumatized at what is inside of this box. But I will leave it for your interpretation. I was traumatized personally. But that was the Rainbow Six Siege creepypasta. Let me know what other games you guys want me to cover in the comments down below, and let me know if you guys enjoy this series or I should just can it. I feel like I'm going to continue it because I have fun making these videos for you guys. So, hope you guys enjoyed the new series, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye! Bye-bye!